Shalom. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Shem Kakwadash. Double honors to our elders and apostles of great millstone that taught us his truth. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect Akim, teaching and preaching his truth with all righteousness and sincerity. This is Yahweh Sop. And today's lesson is entitled, Easier Said Than Done, and Lord willing, you be edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, which are the true names of the Heavenly Father and his beloved Son in the Paleo Hebrew. And as always, the sit downs, the lessons, the street speaking is for the remnant, the elect, the Israel, the Most High, to use the gospel preached. Today's lesson, once again, is easier said than done. All right. And it came from inspiration of a video that GMS Vegas sit downs 144 did. He had a sit down with the elder from GMS Chicago, and it was called Wait Until Your Faith is Shaken, right? Which was a video of exhortation and admonishing and continuing the faith and to understand what you involved in, to understand what you getting yourself into. And oftentimes, we get in the motion of, talking about the downfall of Babylon, talking about the downfall of Esau, talking about the downfall of Keisha, and all these different things. But in order for us to see the downfall, in order for us to get into the kingdom, in order for us to get those crowns, we have to go through the fire. Right? And having faith in the forefront is essential to get you through whatever you're going through. Right? And one of the things that we often say on the highways and the byways is that things are easier said than done. It's easy to say, yeah, just have faith, keep believing, keep pushing, those things are easier said than done, which the meaning of easier said than done is be more easily talked about than put into practice. All right, it's easy to talk about having faith and just endure, Esau finna come down with great wrath, but we gonna get through it, which, that's the great mindset to have, to speak these things into existence. But we have to be in a space where we put these things into practice. We got to put action behind these words. All right. And James, Yahweh Shai's brother, he said that faith without works is dead being alone. All right. There's a certain energy that you have to put in to the things that you say. And as we serving the Lord, there's particular temptations, particular trials, particular tribulations that we go through so we can exercise the things that we talk about. All right. So I'll be reading into Ecclesiastes, the 2nd chapter, and Lord willing, you be edified. It says, my son, if thou serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. And as we out here on the highways and the byways, we serving the Lord. We're bringing out the counsel of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. We're bringing out the testimony. We're speaking about these things that will shortly come to pass. We talk about the MOTB, which is the mark of the beast, the implantable device that go under your skin. With it, you'll be able to buy and sell and identify yourself. So as we out there serving the Lord, there's going to be particular temptations, particular trials and tribulations that we're going to go through in our personal lives. All right, to build up the inward man, to build up the faith needed and able to endure these events that will take place in the earth. It says, set thy heart aright and constantly endure. And, you often hear brothers saying, oh, endure, continue to endure, bro. Those things are easier said than done. But through the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, we understand that we have to go through particular things to be able to understand what endurance looks like, to understand what setting your heart aright looks like. It's easy to read these precepts. It's easy to, remember breakdowns. It's easy to look like you on a level out there on the highways and the byways. But until you actually going through temptation and applying these things, or putting work behind your faith, all right, then that's when it's gonna be shown if you're a real man of the Lord. You know, if you really believe in this. It says, set thy heart aright. The way you do that is that you apply the things that you learn in your daily walk and constantly endure, because you're gonna always go through ups and downs. It says, and make not haste in the time of trouble. Haste, another word for haste, is being impatient. Right? It says, cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. And we want deliverance in our last end. And you cleave unto him by these words, all right, by these writings, by the different things that's written in the scripts. You cleave unto the Lord. That's how you believe. He that believeth on me, as the scriptures have said. You believe on the Lord according to what's written. That's how you cleave unto him. And first and foremost, to cleave unto the Lord is to have faith. It says, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. So what are we reading here? We're reading that as you in this truth and you serving the Lord, you're going to go through temptations. You got to be faced with endurance. You're going to deal with times of trouble. All right. You're going to be in situations where you got to cleave unto him. You're going to be in situations where it looks dark, meaning you don't know how you're going to get out of it, how the Lord is going to work this thing out for you. The Lord will put you in a position where you just got to sit down and see how he's going to come up and deliver you, which is perfect training for the time that we're entering into. Once Esau, Edom comes down with great wrath, which we seeing through the Trump administration, how he's militarizing the National Guard, and he's saying that he want to put them in these various cities throughout America. You know, it's no different than what happened during the Roman siege of Jerusalem. Esau was put his military around Jerusalem to besiege it. You know, it's gonna come a time where we ain't gonna be able to go to Target, Walmart, the grocery store, the gas station, you know, the gym, going for a little walk. You know, and you gonna be there by yourself. You know, or whoever the Lord had you link with. But at the end of the day, it's this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that's going to keep you stable and you having faith in it. Which the faith is how you cleave unto the Lord, and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at the last end. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, because bros go through different things, which we all go through similar things. You know, some brothers go through greater or lesser things, depending on, you know, the spirit the Lord gave them. It says, and take cheerfully. It says, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully. Not that you laughing and giggling and rejoicing when you going through these things. You take cheerfully by accepting it, which is how you show humility. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. You get brought low in this faith, man. You deal with things that you would have never thought you dealt with. And the way you get through those things is cleaving unto him, having faith that the Lord will get you out of it. And going back to the title, it's easier said than done. It's easy to say these things on these lessons, but until you in a lower state, and until you in a time of trouble, and you dealing with temptations, and you applying this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, then you'll know what this thing is about, man. It says, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable, man, in the furnace of adversity. So fire is synonymous with adversity in this script, in this precept. It says, believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright, and trust in him. Lord put us in situations where we have to trust in him and believe in him, and he will help us. Ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy, and go not aside, lest ye fall. What does going aside looks like? That means you casting his word behind you, and you going after your own way, going after a way that's convenient for you. And when you do so, you're like a bull straying alone, as it is written. I'll grab it real quick. And this lesson is to me first. Ecclesiastes 5:1, set not thy heart upon thy goods, and say not, I have enough for my life. You can't be looking at the things that you have and thinking that it's gonna deliver you out of it. You know, I got food, I got this, I got that, I got a good job, I got cars, I got this. You know, I'm good. I have enough for my life. Because the Lord can have robbers to break in and steal those things, and you asked out. Here's the point, follow not thy own mind and thy strength to walk in the ways of thy heart, because there's a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. You may think that you doing a particular situation is right, but at the end up backfiring, and you find yourself in a whole lot of trouble and things not working out in your favor. That's why we apply what's written in the scripts to whatever situation you're going through. And say not, who shall control me for my works, for the Lord will surely, I believe it's supposed to say, avenge thy pride. Right? It was that was on point, but it was one that says, oh yeah, this is what I was actually looking for. That in Ecclesiastes, the 5th chapter, was on point. But the second verse in Ecclesiastes 6 is what I really wanted. Extol not thyself in the counsel of thy own heart. All right. This would be you applying what you think that is right, or how you think carnally on how you should basically deal with a matter. All right. The spirit in Ecclesiastes, the 2nd chapter, tell us what to do when we face with trouble and adversity and low estates. It says, cleave unto him. And you do so by having faith in the Lord, and you have faith in the Lord by believing in what's written and applying it. So if you extol yourself in the counsel of thy own heart, all right, you end up where it say, where was it? You end up departing away, right? Which is extolling yourself in the counsel of your own heart. Because remember in Jeremiah, I want to say it's the 17th chapter, it says the heart is desperately wicked. Who can know it? All right. The counsel of your own heart could be the spiritual demon Satan putting thoughts on your mind, having you thinking what you finna do is right. Extol not thyself in the counsel of thy own heart, that thy soul be not torn in pieces as a bull straying alone. You get destroyed out here. And thou shalt eat up thy leaves and lose thy fruit, and leave thyself as a dry tree, cursed, destroyed. A wicked soul, a wicked spirit shall destroy him that have it. That wicked spirit is going to be using the counsel of his own heart. And spiritual demon Satan could be putting thoughts on your mind. Like Yahweh Shai said, it's not what enter into a man that defile him, is what comes out. Because what comes into your mind is the adultery and all these different demons, you know, but what comes out is the actions and the thoughts that you've had in entertaining those things that came into your mind, and then you act those things out, right? It says a wicked soul shall destroy him that have it, and shall make him to be laughed to scorn of his enemies. You get laughed at. Esau end up conquering you. Back in Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and 6, believe in him. You believe in the Lord by what's written, and he will help thee. He will guide you. He will assist you. Order thy way aright and trust in him. Ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy and go not aside. We gave an example of going aside is to deal with the counsel of your own heart. There's Bible verses that will help you out with your situation. Whatever your situation is, there's a Bible verse for it. all right, on how you can deal with it. Or there's a body of brothers that got the spirit on them that you could talk to, and they'll help you with your situations. But, there's going to be a time where you won't be able to have the Akim. So it's best to build up your relationship with Yahweh Bashem Yahushai now, so he can lead you and guide you in this time that we're entering into. Ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy, and go not aside, lest ye fall. Ye that fear the Lord, believe him, and your reward shall not fail. We want salvation. Ye that fear the Lord, hope for good. And that's another thing. We go through things, but you got to hope for good. You got to have a positive mindset. You got to have a mindset that things is going to work out in your favor. Like it say in Romans, the 8th chapter, all things work for the good unto them that's in Yahushai. So although we go through lower states and different things, it's supposed to work out in our favor. Meanwhile, those who are outside this truth, it don't work out in their favor. They end up getting destroyed by their trials and tribulations. Ye that fear the Lord, hope for good and for the everlasting joy and mercy. Look at the generations of old and see that ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded. When you read about Jacob, you read about Abraham, you read about Isaac, the patriarchs, were they confounded? Yeah, they went through things. They went through ups and downs. Jacob's own brother wanted to kill him. But did Esau kill Jacob? It was a famine in Egypt. But did Jacob die of the famine? Different things Jacob's sons was going through, and different trouble that came from it. Did he die from that? Did his sons die from that? No. Because Jacob was a man of the Lord. When Abimelech wanted to take Abraham's wife, Sarah. All right. Was Abraham in a situation where he never saw Sarah again, and they took her and did all kind of crazy wild shit to her? No, the Lord had it to where it worked out in his favor. He got his wife back. Same thing with Isaac. So you look at the different things that's written in the scripts, the generations of old, those that were in a position where they trusted in the Lord, they was not confounded. David, the various things David went through, he was not confounded. Or did any abide in the sphere, this truth, and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him, that was praying? For the Lord is full of compassion and mercy and long suffering, and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins, and saveth in a time of affliction. All right, these are the characteristics of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. Woe be to the fearful hearts and faint hands, and the sinner that goeth 2 ways. Person that's a hypocrite. Woe unto him that is faint-hearted, weak-minded, for he believeth not, therefore shall he not be defended. The Lord is not going to defend a person that's weak-minded, that don't believe, that's going 2 ways. He's a hypocrite. He's all over the place. Woe unto you that have lost patience. You fell off the truth. And we all pray that the Lord keep us, man. And what will you do when the Lord shall visit you? Nothing. They that fear the Lord will not disobey his word. This is the characteristics of his elect. They will not disobey the word. And they that love him will keep his ways. They that fear the Lord will seek that which is well pleasing unto him, which is faith. And they that love him will be filled with the law, filled with this truth. They that fear the Lord will prepare their hearts. It's the mindset of the elect. They will get their minds right. They meditate and humble their souls in his sight. That he accept what's brought upon them. Saying, we will fall into the hands of the Lord and not into the hands of men. But as his majesty is, so is his mercy. All right, they will believe in the Lord. They will cleave unto him. And going back to his title, easier said than done. It's easier to say, hey, cleave unto the Lord. Have faith. But the Lord will put you in positions where you have to really exercise these things. Easier said than done means to be more easily talked about than put into practice. The Lord is putting us in positions where we put these words and the different things that we've learned into practice, right? And it's going to be beneficial for us at the end. Lord willing, this was edifying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Rakakwadash, double honor to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us this truth. Shalom, Akim, stay watching.